Where's the stream? Here's the stream. I really should have started this earlier tonight, because tomorrow's the day I gotta wake up early. Oops. Alright, we got some things to go over today. So, first of all, yesterday was Kyurem Fusion Raid Day in Pokemon Go. I did not get a single shiny, and I did not get anything that were good IVs. In fact, I got quite the opposite. Because if you look right here, yesterday, I got myself a floor Zekrom. Can you see that? Yesterday, I got a floor IV Zekrom. The worst IVs you could get. I got a 10, 10, 10 floor Zekrom yesterday. That alone is quite the achievement. I did not get a shiny. I did not get anything good. I got the worst possible IVs that there could be. But you know what? I'm not mad. I'm not disappointed. Like I said, getting the floor is an achievement on its own. And now I know what Zekrom to fuse to a good Kyurem. One day when I get one, I don't have to fuse a good IV. I don't have to fuse a mid IV. I can fuse the shittiest IV possible, and I won't feel bad about it. So you know what? I'm not mad. I'm not mad that I got the worst possible IV pool there was. But I've seen a lot of anger online. A lot of people were not happy with this raid day. Now, this isn't like... I think it was the Origin, Dialga, and Palkia raid day that actually was screwed up by Niantic or Scopely on their end. No, this time people... I don't want to say we're nitpicking for things to be mad about, but some of them were valid. Kind of like, this was supposed to be a Kyurem raid day, and people were complaining that there was a lot of Reshurams and Zekroms. Like, we wanted the Kyurems. It was called Kyurem Raid Day, and we were getting lots of Reshurams and Kyurems. What? Reshurams and Zekroms. And I'm not gonna lie, during the day, I saw pretty much all the gyms around me just have Zekroms, and no one was really raiding the Zekroms. Even I'm thinking like, damn, really wish this was a Kyurem instead. I don't really want a Zekrom. But, oh well. So yeah, people are complaining, where's the Kyurems? It's supposed to be Kyurem Raid Day. So, to me, that's a valid argument. That's a valid criticism. But I also understand why they gave us Reshurams and Zekroms to raid, because what if you didn't have them to fuse? Which is like... By this point, you probably should have them. You know? We're 9.5 years into the game. When it hits July? I think July this year? It'll be 10 years of Pokemon Go. We should have them enough by now. But anyways, people were also complaining the fact that there was no catch boost for the legendaries. Wasting more of your time trying to catch the damn thing. So had they raised the catch rate, we could have just instantly caught and moved on to the next raid. Which, I guess, but then again, I feel like that's something just nitpicking. But you know what? Aside from getting a floor Zekrom, I did get a hundo that day. I hatched a hundo LGM. So, hey, I'm glad my raid luck Really paid off on LGM raid day to the point I got a hundo. Anyways, yeah, I don't have a single fused Kyurem in my Pokemon Go. I have the energies for it, I just don't have any good Kyurems to fuse it to. I could just fuse it to, like, the 1 or 2, I don't even know how many I have, the 1 or 2 shiny Kyurems I have, and just be done with it. But then I'd just be wasting energies, and, you know, what if I get a better IV shiny one day? I just wasted the energies. And besides, Ice Burn and Freeze Shock, I'm not going to use those. I've gotten by just fine without using them now, so I don't really need them. Also, let me show you what I got today. When I say what I got today, I mean what I got like an hour and a half ago. So, past couple days in my Legend ZA, I've been trying to get a shiny Alpha Honedge inside of the hyperspace. I had a level 1 Sparkling Steel and a level 1 Alpha Power, and I just couldn't get the Alpha Shiny. I kept on getting regular Shinies, but because that's not what I wanted, I had to sacrifice them to the Shadow Realm and restart the game until I get what I want. Well, I caved, and I decided to try to go make a better donut. What I ended up getting was a level 2, a level 1 Sparkle Steel, but a level 2 Alpha. And I figured, well, it's probably the best I'm gonna get. In the process, I did make a level 3 Sparkling Dragon and a level 2 Alpha boost. So I'm thinking, what dragon type shiny Alpha could I hunt? And I'm thinking, probably a Gibble. So let me show you real quick. So if you look at my game right over here, I do indeed have a shiny Alpha Honedge I got earlier today, and 3 more. Well, 2 more in a Doublade, all shiny. And this is what I've been doing. Right here, just doing this, and then it just resets all of these spawns. So that's what I've just been doing, just back and forth at this teleporter, until I got the shinies. This is shiny hunting in Legend ZA. Well, I finally got the shiny Alpha I wanted. I get to move on and continue working on my Pokédex. You know, I haven't talked about some Hollywood news in a while. Sebastian Stan has been cast as Two-Face in the Batman Part 2. Makes me wonder, how's he gonna make time for that and playing Bucky Barnes? And I probably didn't mention this when the news came out. Scarlett Johansson is playing some unknown character in the Batman Part 2. Seems like Matt Reeves is just swooping in and taking all of the Marvel actors. Before we talk about the shows, there is one quick little news story I want to go over. So, I heard this on the radio earlier this morning on my way to work, like with my dad in the car. No. Yeah, with my dad in the car. I was with my dad this morning. I heard this on the radio too. And then, not even an hour later, like not even half an hour later, my friend sent me the article on our group chat. 21-year-old man arrested after East End stabbing over cigarette refusal. So, some 21-year-old out there was arrested for stabbing someone to death, maybe, I don't know if it was to death, but I just see arrested after a man in his 60s was stabbed by a 21-year-old. There are some crazy people out there, folks. A 21-year-old stabbed someone over a cigarette refusal. Now, I don't know how, like, which way the refusal went. Did the 21-year-old ask for a cigarette and the old man refused to give him one? Because there's no way the 60-year-old asked the 21-year-old for a cigarette, right? My friend sent my friend sent the message along with the article he sent over. Imagine stabbing somebody over a cig. And I'm just like, I'd stab someone if they exhaled to my face. I would. Straight into the eye. You know how much I hate smoking. You blow all that gas straight into my nostrils, you are dying. You know, yesterday night, I went out with friends. We went to eat sushi. Before it was dinner time, before it was the reservation time, well, I had a little bit of time to kill. So my mom asked me to go over and pick up some wine. Now, you know me, I don't drink either. But, you know, according to them, it's good wine and cheap. So they wanted me to go over and buy some. It was on the way, and I still had time. Man, I tell you, on the way driving there, I saw 2 people driving, barely the window pulled down, smoking in their car. Disgusting. One of them was right as I was parking the car, getting ready to get out to go buy the wine. Disgusting. You absolutely putrid soul, smoking in your car. You don't need me to rant about how much I hate smoking again. They just rolled the window down just a teensy bit, expecting that small little gap to air out their whole car. And then the moment they finish their cigarette, do they roll down the windows to let the whole car air out? Nope! They close all the windows and let it seep in. Let it just soak into all of the cushions and the seatings. But anyways, yeah, after I finished buying the wine, I went to dinner with my friends, and it turns out my friend, he made the reservation at the wrong location. So we had to drive to another location. We ate sushi, by the way. It was an all-you-can-eat sushi. And, you know, when you eat all-you-can-eat sushi, there is potentially a fee if you order too much. You can't eat anymore, and, you know, the food, it just gets wasted because you're too full. You can't eat anymore. See, I may not be that smart, but when it comes to stuff like this, I plan my course of actions strategically. So, 3 of my friends, they were fighting over the iPad trying to order. Me and my other friend, we just sat back and waited for those bozos to order. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna let those monkeys do what they need to do. And then when I have my when I have my chance with the tablet, I'm just gonna order all my stuff in moderation. So, these morons didn't realize that they had ordered too much food. And I'm just like, man, I didn't order none of that. That's all on you. I'm not touching that stuff. I'm not paying the wasting fee for something I didn't order. I'm eating my own food. Y'all can enjoy that. Y'all can stuff your face with that. I just kept on eating and eating and eating. When all these guys were filled and there was still food on the plates, I just kept on eating and eating and eating. Weak. These guys were weak. That's because I ordered all my items in moderation. I ordered like 2 pieces of this, 1 piece of that, 3 pieces of this. Keep in mind too, it's an all you can eat. You place 1 order for a piece of sashimi, it's literally 1 piece of sashimi. And damn, I feel really bad literally doing just that. Ordering 1 piece of an item. Because they have to literally prepare 1 of said item, plate it, and send it. And then you take your one and only bite, it's all done, they gotta wash the plate. They got to put all the work into the presentation for the 1 item on the small ass plate. It's like, damn, now I feel bad. I should have ordered like, you know, a handful, that way it would have made more sense, but 1 single piece? But yeah, throughout the night, I just kept on eating, kept on going, while all of these guys stopped eating, to the point, when I finished my food, not only did I order more, I had to help these guys clean some of their plates. I really did. I wasn't stuffed to the point I was gonna throw up, but oof, was I filled. Was I filled. It was one of those you were so full, you felt it for the rest of the night. Man, last night, given how full I was, I knew I was gonna sleep good last night. Did I? Well, I would've, but it was just too hot. It was too hot. If it wasn't that hot, then I would have slept soundly. Have you guys ever tried a cream cheese rangoon? It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a rangoon filled with cream cheese. Borderline just deep fried cream cheese. Cream cheese wrapped in a wonton wrapper, deep fried. When I ordered it, I tried it. It also had sweet and sour sauce on it, and I'm just like, I like this. It may literally just be deep fried cheese, but hey, I like it. I'll admit, you know, the fact that it was deep fried, as I was eating it, it did like cut up the roof of my mouth. But the flavor, I like it. None of my friends were willing to try it. None of my friends were even willing to give it a try. See, maybe this is why... Maybe this is why I'm single, or let's be more specific. Maybe this is why no woman would ever go on a sushi date with me. I don't eat raw fish. I order all of the cooked stuff. I like deep fried cheese, and I'm the kind of guy that would rip out all the cucumbers in his sushi before he eats it. Because I literally did that. When I had to help my friends clean up their plates, yeah, I had to extract all of the cucumbers before I ate it, because I'm not eating that nasty ass shit. Disgusting. And you know, I don't know what my friends were complaining about. They were saying that the rolls weren't that great. They were saying like it was stuffed too much with other stuff and not enough meat in it. Like not enough fish, too much avocados and cucumbers. I'm looking at it, I'm like, what's the issue? I'm looking at it, because I didn't eat it yet, I was eating my own stuff. I'm looking at it and I'm just like, what's the problem? Looks fine to me. And then once I finished all my food and left room for their food, because they couldn't eat anymore, I tried it and I'm just like, I took out all the cucumbers and I ate it. What's the problem? You know? What's the issue here? But whatever. You want to hear another quick story before we continue? It's going to be quick, not really, I promise. So, earlier today when I was at work, I went over to bring my dad some food. And then I look up, I see the TV screen, and I'm just like, are my eyes deceiving me? Am I seeing who I'm seeing on the TV screen? I look up, I see her on the TV screen. I heard the Chinese people on the TV say her name. It's like, yep, my eyes are not deceiving me. That's her. I randomly look up and I see Saita Kawakita on the TV screen. And for those who don't know who she is, don't know that name, oh, you poor innocent souls. Let me tell you, her profession is exactly what you think it is. It is 1000% what you're thinking it is. You are 100% correct. That is what she does for a living. So, I'm not kidding. I look up, and on the TV screen, I just see on the Chinese channel, the Japanese porn star being interviewed. I'm just like, what is going on? And she literally had 5 dudes surrounding her. Not like that. I don't know if it was 5 different guys interviewing her, or if it was 3 guys and 2 translators. Because from what I briefly witnessed, 3 guys were speaking Chinese and 2 guys were speaking Japanese, I assume translating. But still. So I took pictures of the TV screen, I sent it to friends. And to my surprise, all my gooners of friends don't even know who she was. Like, seriously, folks? Really? Isn't it kind of crazy to you guys that I look up at a TV screen and I knew her by name? Doesn't that tell you everything you need to know? So, let me tell you what one of my friends replied. Really think about this statement for a second. So, I showed him the picture. I even said by name who she was and what she does. This is what he said. Let me put it into more obvious terms since you're not getting it. Ahem. Tell us you're into women who've been used by several men without telling us you're into that. That's exactly what he said. You wanna know what I replied? My reply was, yo, Brainiac, that's kind of the whole point of porn. Isn't it? But the way this guy implies it, the way he implies it kind of makes you think like, you know, you're catching feelings. But no. No. There is no catching feelings for porn stars because that would be extra retarded. Anyways, so yeah, that's a quick little story. The fact that today, randomly, I look up and I see on the TV screen a Japanese porn star who I just happened to know by name the moment I saw her. And I'm just like, what has this world come to? What's funny is my dad was watching it. I highly doubt, or at least I highly hope, my dad doesn't know who she is, and he just happens to have on the Chinese channel that for some reason was doing an interview with her. What kind of world do I live in where someone doing that for a living that I am aware of shows up on a TV screen that my dad is watching? What is going on with my life? And you know what? I really wish I did not understand some of the stuff they were asking during the interview. I understood the bare level, the very surface level of what they were asking her. One question was, what kind of guys do you like working with? You know, when you're doing your job, when you're filming, what kind of guys are you into? And at that moment, I'm just like, nope, I'm walking out. I don't want to know this. I don't need to listen to this. I am leaving. Truly interesting stuff. And then I don't remember exactly the question being asked. Something like, "Is your work hard? How do you manage?" That kind of stuff. You know how I recognize a lot of actors in media? My friends even question, whenever we watch something, and I recognize the faces, I recognize the actors, and I know them by name, they're always like, how do you know all these actors? Well, let me tell you, folks, recognition kind of extends to a different kind of video industry. A different kind of acting industry. And as Steve Harvey said, they are the worst acting people on the planet. And from what I've seen, yes, that is true. Hey, I've never hidden my degeneracy. I never hidden how much of a freak I am. Don't let this come out as a surprise to you folks. I never hid it. Anyway, shall we move on? Let's talk about Chainsaw Man. Now that I've wasted half an hour of your time, let's talk about Chainsaw Man. So this is episode 11, which means I am one episode away from witnessing absolute cinema. So we start off this episode by seeing, actually to my surprise, so we see Hayakawa do his contract with the future devil. To my surprise, there was not really that much of, "Future devil, I'm here to bargain." And we see just what the future devil looks like and acts like, and I'm just like, ew, why does he kind of act like Majora's incarnation? So, the future devil has Hayakawa put his head into his chest, because the future devil's design, the big eyeball is on his chest in a big gaping hole. The future devil will look into the future of the person and then determine a bargain. The future rules, yes. So Hayakawa does that, and then the future devil just laughs. Because the future devil is able to see Hayakawa's future, how he dies. Apparently he dies in a horrible way. So as he was about to explain to Hayakawa how he dies, Hayakawa just cuts him off, doesn't want to know, because that doesn't matter. As long as he can kill his targets, it doesn't matter how he dies. So there's not really much of a bargain, because even the future devil knows, oh, you poor soul, you have 2 years left to live, and you are gonna die in a horrible way. You know what? I'll just throw you a bone. Because what the future devil does is just goes into Hayakawa's eye, and pretty much it. Anytime Hayakawa needs the future devil's power, he can use it. That's pretty much it. Even the future devil's like, that face, that expression on your face says, is that it? And maybe I'm tripping, but ever since Hayakawa acquired the future devil in his eye, is it me, or is his eye a slightly different color now? Slightly, ever so slightly, just a hint of a different shade of blue. Or maybe that's just a placebo thing. Anyways, so what else? And something Hayakawa does throughout the episode really makes me question their whole deal, their whole contract. I'll get to that. Alright, so... Oh, also, I swear, I know I'm not tripping. Because watching the opening credits again, I swear, there are some things different with each opening credit. I swear I'm not seeing things. For God's sake, I shiny hunt. I notice when things are different. Except for the moments I don't. Because I'm distracted. By the way, I failed a shiny Helioptile today in Pokemon Go. It was off of the daily incense and it fled. However, later on in the day I did get a shiny Onyx. Moving on. So we see that Denji and Power fighting a Division 4 higher up guy. We learned his name for the first time throughout this, later in this episode. They're fighting him off screen. We see the aftermath, and they actually managed to land a cut on him. Which, hey, that's progress. So he kind of just promotes them to, instead of getting their ass beat every single day, now let's do it every once a week. Yay. But in the meantime, they have a mission. All of the brand new Special Division 4 is going to go after Snake Devil Girl and Samurai Sword Guy. Because apparently they know where they are. How did they find out? It is of no concern. They just know where they're hiding out. So the guy, I forgot his name already. The guy that's training both Denji and Power goes and speaks with Makima. And once again, it's brought up that Makima probably knew about the attack on her division, on Division 4, the one that got so many of our characters killed. Makima probably knew about that, but did nothing. She just let it happen. And Makima's reasoning is just, well, it's for the greater good. Everything I do is in the best interest for the public's safety. Oh, she said it. And even this dude just flat out calls her out. Liar. You have an ulterior motive. And before Makima can explain what it is, well, nope. Screen cuts off. Next scene. We still don't know what Makima's true intentions are. Am I missing anything? I feel like I'm forgetting something about this episode because we have two other storylines, and I'm thinking, is that it? There wasn't more to the episode? Anyways, let's just start off with this one. So we see Makima meet up with some sort of like mob boss kind of person. Where she's getting information on the Snake Devil Girl. I already forgot her name again. And the mob boss guy, he has information on her somehow. He has information that she convinced all these other goons to partner up with partner up with the Gun Devil. what exactly was the deal or whatnot? It was to give the gun devil 20,000 yen. What does a devil need money for? I don't know. I suppose even a gun devil needs to buy the bullets. Anyways. 20,000 yen is, in US dollars, 126 bucks and 58 cents. So you give the gun devil $120. What about my neck of the woods? How much is that in Canadian? 175. So in my perspective, I give the gun devil 175 bucks. And then I do the gun devil's work? So I need to pay the gun devil money, and then I get to work for the gun devil. I mean, you'd be a fool not to take that deal at that point. So anyways, Makima wants the mafia guy to write down all the names of everyone who is working for the gun devil. He's just like, sure, no problem. I know all of them off the top of my head. But Makima's also like, I also need names. Not only of those people, but of your people as well. Names of your workers, families, friends, loved ones. I need the names of everyone. It's just like, why would we do that? Also, Makima sitting there, cool as a disgusting cucumber, in front of this mob boss with 5 guys surrounding her. I'm just like, haven't I seen this somewhere before? It's almost like a one-to-one creation. Recreation. It is literally almost hilariously perfect. Her literally just sitting there with 5 different guys standing over her. It's just like, there's no way they animated that not knowing that looked somewhat familiar. Even if it was just an American meme, there's no way they couldn't have known. Tell me, folks, when this show came out 3 years ago, did people make that comparison? Did people compare that one moment to the actual meme itself? Did I miss it? So anyways, so he lights a cigar telling her, yeah, if I gave out names of all my people, then that would start a turf war. That would start some sort of war between the mobs of here and other countries, like the Chinese and the Soviets. So, no, I won't be giving you those names, lady. Good day. As he inhales from his cigar and blows all that smoke into her face. Now, you already know what I would do in that position. But Makima, showing herself to be, serious, she just nonchalantly, casually, no big deal, pulls out a little paper bag that is dry, by the way. No wet marks, no anything. Nothing indicating what's inside is at all moist. So she pulls out a brown paper bag and just casually says, oh, those are the eyeballs of all of your people's loved ones. Friends, siblings, parents, wives. The dude opens the bag and, yeah, no joke, there really are eyeballs in there. Won't be the only moment tonight where I talk about cutting out eyeballs. So everyone's a little freaked out about this lady who actually you can literally see the aura she's exuding. One dude almost tries to punch her, and then with Makima's death stare, he literally folds. And well, everything else happens off screen, because you probably know what Makima did. You probably know why Makima needs those names. Later on, we see a scene where she just walks out. Little bit of blood on her shirt, but no big deal. Walks out, big smile on her face, like she just put in a hard days at work. Very curious what devil she has a contract with. You know what? The stronger and smarter that we get to know her as, the more I understand Denji's perspective. Like, I see why Denji is really after her. And lucky for Denji, he is on her good side. I see you, Denji. You have a real keeper on your hands. But damn, if she dies, all she's worth to Denji is 3 days of grief. Okay, so so we see that our group has found the building that these antagonists are in, the snake contract girl and the samurai sword guy. And she reveals that in the basement, in the underground area, there's just a big horde of zombies. As if this is the barn full of walkers. They just keep a bunch of zombies down there. And yeah, she's just like, don't get bit. Bit? What do you mean? There are zombies down there. It's a little gift from Granddad. You get... As if she actually needed to explain this. If humans get bit by zombies, they get turned into zombies. Wow. You don't say. I never would have guessed. I don't know. They just casually brush off that a zombie apocalypse is possible. And it's not a huge concern if that outbreak actually happens. They just brush it off. So anyways, the police have the building surrounded. They're waiting for their special division 4 to show up. So Denji is there, Power is there, Kobani is there. And Kobani, she really does not want to be there. Denji and Power, they're a little egotistical with how much training they've been through. Like, yeah, I feel strong now. I feel powerful. I can take on anything now. As they're cackling with maniacal tones, you know, poor Kobani, she really doesn't want to be there. But remember, Kobani, she's been holding back on all of us. Alright, so in goes our brand new Division 4. So we see Hayakawa going, Denji, Power, Kobani. So the... what's his name again? Kibini? I forgot his freaking name. The guy that's training Denji and Power, he talks to two other guys and other divisions, and he just goes, let me introduce you to our brand new division. And then we see some other fiends that are brand new characters that I guess went in ahead of time, because we didn't meet them prior to this scene, nor did we see them walk into the building. So I'm going to assume they entered the building beforehand, before our characters did. So we see a couple of new characters. We meet Shark Boy, I mean the Shark Fiend. He can swim through solid matter, swim through walls and the floor. He can turn his head into a shark, but temporarily. And he just feasts on zombies. You would think by zombie logic that would infect him, but whatever, doesn't matter. So we meet the Shark Fiend. We also meet the Violent Fiend. The Violence Fiend? Just someone who's really good at martial arts. So this person, really good at martial arts, super violent. He is so violent to the point they have to have this person wear a mask at all times that will dispel, like, poison gas if he gets out of line. Really, he's that dangerous. And that mask makes him look kind of like a bird. Kind of like Spectre Knight. Is it Spectre Knight? Which Shovel Knight character was it? No, not Spectre Knight. No, not Spectre Knight. Which character was it? There was another Shovel Knight character. Plague Knight. There it is, Plague Knight. We meet the Spider Fiend, or is it... Yeah, we meet the Spider Fiend, who kind of looks like the Hex Maniac. And then, ew, she has a human upper torso, and then just a ginormous bottom half that's a spider's body. Ew. And lastly, we meet probably everyone's favorite, I can't wonder why. We meet the Angel Fiend. She does the exact opposite of what an angel does, and that is if you make physical contact, your life will be drained away, shortening your life. Damn. So, she? It's not a she? Oh. Are you serious? It's so hard to tell with anime. Oh no, it's just Angel Devil, not a fiend. Oh no, this person actually is a guy. I just looked it up. This person is a guy. Well, I didn't know. This is the first time I've seen him, aside from the opening credits, where he was just in the background. Well, I didn't know. His look, his voice. You can't blame me for thinking otherwise. This is anime we're talking about, so... really is hard sometimes. Anyways. So the Angel Devil just casually asks Hayakawa during the whole zombie fight, do you have a handkerchief I can use? And even the Angel Devil's surprised, like, wow, you walked right up to me. You know, if you touch me, I could kill you, right? But, you know, Hayakawa, he has no fear when it comes to death. So this guy shoots from behind him, and then the Angel Devil uses his wings as a shield. Alright, so they're slaughtering the zombies. Hayakawa calls back his team, our characters, and says, we're going to look for our targets. We're going to look for Snake Girl and Samurai Guy. Just leave the zombies to the fiends. And what does Hayakawa suggest they do? Even Denji's like, how are we going to find them? Do we know where they are? Hayakawa just says, no, we're going to split up? Are you kidding me? The last time you guys dealt with the Snake Devil girl, you were split up, and she nearly killed you all. What do you mean you're gonna split up? So anyways, they do indeed split up, stupidly. Hayakawa just searches a floor on his own to where one guy comes out of one of the rooms, you would think quietly, to sneak up on him, but no, he makes the loudest noise ever. Just throws open the door, runs out, cocks his gun, like, damn, how loud can you be? So Hayakawa swiftly takes care of him, doesn't kill him, but just gives him a swift uppercut. And then out comes 4 other guys in a room. And I'm just thinking, alright, you have guns. He is the enemy. Your intention is to kill him. The 4 of you ran out the door and you vastly outnumber him. There is no way he has enough time to run up to you and uppercut all of you to the point that would save his life. So, shoot him! But no, the 4 guys with guns don't shoot him on the spot. Instead, they just stand there and point their guns at him. So, they just stand there, and then one of the guys gets a nosebleed, falls to the ground. One by one, they all fall to the ground. And this is where we see the disconnected scene where Makima comes out of the place with a little bit of blood on her clothes, implying that she has the names and she's already did what she needed to do. Alright, so Hayakawa found where the snake girl is. Oh, how long can you clap Angel before you die? Why is the timer on 69 seconds? Damn, ever since you ruined the immersion for me that this Angel character is a guy. I was literally about to say, well, guess you can't tap that one, otherwise, you know, physical touch. If this character was female, then she would have been like Rogue, you know? No physical touch. So anyways, Hayakawa just very easily, very casually finds the snake girl, the snake devil girl, before Hayakawa can very casually and gentlemanly say, hey, I came alone. I came very calmly, and she just instantly goes, alright, snake, come forth, kill him. So the snake devil attacks Hayakawa. Hayakawa is able to hold his own with the sword, and even the future devil offers assistance, but it doesn't seem like Hayakawa uses that assistance yet. So obviously Hayakawa gets overpowered. He gets into a choking position by the snake devil, and the girl just says, choke him to death. So Hayakawa is being choked to death. We get a close-up on his eye as the life is being drained from him. And then, just before he dies, it cuts to black and the episode's over. So, I'm kind of wondering, we see Hayakawa using his sword again. Doesn't that mean his lifespan is reduced even more? Before, he had 2 years left. Does now he have, like, a year and 11 months? Does he now have a year and a half? How much time does he have left? So, we have 1 episode left of Chainsaw Man. I don't think I missed anything from this episode, did I? Besides the guy's name, which I can't even remember. I think it's spelled with. It starts with a K. Alright, let me sign into Netflix so I can go over the Sandman and Dead Boy Detectives episode, because this was a really good episode of the Sandman, and it was the final episode of Dead Boy Detectives. So episode 9 of the Sandman Season 2, we open up with the Corinthian, well, receiving his glasses to cover up his eyes, his mouth eyes. And this Corinthian is similar to the previous one, yes, but he is more obedient, more kind, more obeying of Dream. Everyone is kind of against the Corinthian, though, because, you know, he has a face that they all recognize as a serial killer. Because you have to remember, Season 1's Corinthian was a serial killer who cut out everyone's eyes. So this Corinthian does remember Lucien and Matthew, and that's because this Corinthian has a little bit of memories from, well, has a fragment of the first Corinthian. So while Dream is stuck in his realm, he wants the Corinthian to go back to the waking world and find Daniel Hall. But because nobody trusts this brand new Corinthian, Lucien suggests that they send someone alongside him to make sure he doesn't step out of line. And of course, Dream already has someone in mind to watch over the Corinthian, and that is Joanna Constantine. But Constantine is pretty against this idea, because, well, she too has a history, a pretty bad history with the Corinthian. But after some disagreements, well, she kind of has no choice, because she wakes back up on the bus that she's on, and the Corinthian is just behind her. And that makes me think, did nobody notice this guy just appeared out of nowhere? So, Dream did give Joanna Constantine a tool to help. It's an Eagle Stone that has the power to uncreate the Corinthian if he steps out of line. In fact, Joanna, she's against working with the Corinthian, so she just wakes up. But it's actually Corinthian who gives the stone to Joanna. This Corinthian, not gonna lie, I like this Corinthian. So, Constantine and the Corinthian are working together now to find Daniel Hall. We see the continuation of Loki posing as a detective, giving Hippolyta the bad news that, well, her baby's dead. Mrs. Shore actually just questions Loki about his story, like, where did you find the baby? Oh, like, how do you know this baby is Daniel? Oh, we found one of his shoes. Where? Where did you find the boy? Oh, by this park over there. this campsite. It's like, wait, there is no campsite around here. I know this area very well. So Mrs. Shore knows something's off with this detective. Well, Hippolyta, she just wants to be alone for now. Because she's under the impression that her son is dead. So, we're back at the dreaming, where now that Dream is stuck in his own realm, he is just finding things to do to kill the time. Lucien suggests that, well, there are a couple things that we can do, that you can do. For one, she suggests that Dream can settle an ongoing dispute between the Knight of Clouds and the Body Politic. And whoever they are, because we don't even see who those characters are in this episode. We see back at Fairy that Nuala is very unpleased of having glamour put on her by her brother. So she goes over to see Cluracan, and Cluracan is very deep into the royalty sauce, let's say that. Anyway, so Nuala wants to see if she can get Fairy's army over to the Dreaming to assist Dream. So what do? They suggest talking to someone named Menton, who is like the head of the military, I guess. So Nuala and Cluracan, they go off and do just that, along with, I think, tea with the Queen. But all of that happens off screen, so we never meet who this Menton is. Mrs. Shore follows Loki, and of course Loki knows better. He knows that he's followed. So Loki pulls a gun on Mrs. Shore and just leads her to like a very sketchy alleyway so they could talk. Mrs. Shore tries to get Loki to lower the gun, but Loki's just like, I don't have a gun. Turns around and sees it's just a cigarette in his hand. Mrs. Shore asks, who are you? Who are you really? Loki's just like, are you religious, Mrs. Shore? Do you believe in God? What about gods? Because Loki finally reveals who he is. He is Loki, god of fire and wit. So what he does is he tosses the cigarette over at Mrs. Shore, and it just sets her ablaze and burns her to a crisp. You know, I should have guessed that this incarnation, this depiction of Loki, isn't the god of mischief. And I wonder, like, which one is it? Which one's the real... Like, which one is more faithful to what we have in real-life mythology? Is Loki the god of mischief or the god of fire? We see Delirium visiting Destiny, asking for advice because she can't find... Shit, what was the dog's name again? Barnaby's, there it is. Took me a second. Well, she can't find Barnaby, so she asks Destiny for advice. Delirium actually sees two Destinies. There's two of him. I wonder what that's about. There's two Destinies. Dream goes over to Fiddler's Green and, you know, has a very good conversation. Mostly just Fiddler's Green telling Dream stuff. Like, telling him that he's changed, and that's a good thing. Because centuries ago, he would have done none of the stuff that he's been doing recently. So, we see Jesus, that voice crack. We see Constantine and Corinthian. They went and gathered a couple of stuff. Oh yeah, earlier Constantine suggested to Dream, why not summon Odin to get back Loki? you know? And Dream's just like, well, that's because Odin doesn't know Loki is freed from his prison. So, no informing Odin. Anyway, so Constantine's idea to find and capture Loki is to summon Odin. So she begins the summoning ritual to summon Odin, but then the Corinthian cuts her off, stops her halfway, suggesting that, hey, let's not summon Odin because Dream ordered us not to summon Odin. So instead, let's just do a location spell, a spell that will locate Loki and lead us to him. So finally, we get to see Constantine doing some sort of sorcery, some sort of magic. So the spell works, a trail of fire leads them straight to the victims of Loki, not necessarily to Loki himself, because he's a fire god, it's hard to pinpoint exactly where the fire starts. So they follow the trail of fire to where Loki's victims are. As they leave, well, Odin shows up. I guess the Corinthian wasn't able to stop the summoning quick enough, because Odin actually did show up. Hippolyta gets a visit from the woman, the old lady from the last episode with the 3 dogs. Last time, I did say that this was Loki in disguise, but no, it's actually not. It's a character named Hetty. Mad Hetty, perhaps? And Hetty was sent by the 3 ladies, you know, the kindly ones. So tells Hippolyta to follow. Loki goes back to the hotel where he drugged Puck and burnt Daniel. He pulls Daniel out from the fireplace and starts tearing off the burnt shell. Because now Daniel, he's alive. Daniel's still alive, but he's no longer human. He is a dream. He is as powerful as Morpheus, as Dream himself, maybe more. Well, Puck is very disappointed by Loki, since he drugged him and all. But Loki's just like, well, I was going to burn the baby. Would you have really let me do that? But yeah, Puck is furious, so he leaves. Constantine and Corinthian, they find the burnt body of Mrs. Shore. And Corinthian has an idea on how to find Loki. So he pulls out a knife and cuts out Mrs. Shore's eyes. He's still the Corinthian nonetheless, alright? The previous Corinthian cut out people's eyes when they were alive, but this one, these eyes are dead. So Corinthian cuts out Mrs. Shore's eyes, feeds it to his eyes' mouths, and he's able to see what Mrs. Shore saw. So the Corinthian knows where Loki is, or where he probably is. And throughout the episode, we start to see the Corinthian, he starts to like Constantine. He starts to like Joanna Constantine. And honestly, can you blame him? Have you seen Jenna Coleman? She's lovely. So they go to this hotel where Loki is staying, and they decide to split up to try to find him. So Hetty brings Hippolyta to this very disgusting looking apartment. And then, you know, with her lipstick draws a circle of protection to protect Hippolyta, as she later on does her like little chanting spell. Her chanting spell later on is to get her to see the, you know, the sister fates, the kindly ones. So Constantine and the Corinthian meet up with Puck at the hotel bar. And no surprise, Puck is aware of who the Corinthian is. And also, he's heard of who Constantine is. Corinthian, I'm not gonna lie, he's pretty smooth. He kind of just confesses his love on the spot for Constantine, and I'm just like, wow, dude caught feelings real quick. And once again, I can't blame him, you know? Joanna Constantine, Jenna Coleman, she is beautiful. Puck just completely spills the beans on where Loki is. He's in hotel, what do you say, 4059, whatever the hotel room was. Saying like, well, he is just newly broken up. And Puck is now gonna go back to Fairy. It's revealed later in the episode Puck hasn't been back to Fairy in like 300 years. So they, yeah, now they know where Loki is. Dream sitting at his desk doing paperwork. Wow, it's kind of crazy to see. And Delirium shows up, asking Dream if he wants to go on another quest with her to find Barnaby's. Delirium mentions that, you know, she did go to Destiny, but right before she left, there were like a dozen Destinies. And Dream is happy to hear that, because if there's more than one Destiny, that means the future isn't written. It isn't concrete and guaranteed. And almost as like a thank you for her sister telling her... Wait. Almost as a thank you for his sister telling him about this great and wonderful news that the future, there may still be hope for Dream. And Dream even says that too. Sister, you gave me hope. He summons Goldie to accompany Delirium on her quest to find her canine friend. Don't worry, Dream will inform Cain and Abel of where Goldie is. So Hetty is able to, you know, get an audience with the kindly ones for Hippolyta. We see that Hippolyta, she wants the kindly ones to kill the Dream Lord for her because Dream killed her son, even though she didn't. And well, instead, what they do is they arm Hippolyta with a sword so that she can kill Dream herself. Back at the hotel, Constantine and Corinthian, they're about to go in to find Loki. But when they open the door, they see Dream. Obviously, we know that's absolute bullshit. It's Loki in disguise trying to trick them. And, well, these two are clever. They're not going to be tricked. So the Corinthian seems to actually be stronger than Loki. Actually is choking him on the floor to where Loki can't free himself. But before Corinthian is able to finish the work with Loki, Odin and Thor shows up to take Loki back. Odin wants the Corinthian and Constantine to tell Dream that despite freeing Loki from his prison, there is no grudge between us. Even Odin's like, let him go to his grave in peace. Wow. Even Odin is expecting Dream to be dead, thanks to the kindly ones. Anyway, so now that they found Daniel, they're actually debating. Do we actually bring Daniel to Dream? Or should we bring Daniel back to his mother? The Corinthian was actually prepared to, you know, sacrifice it all for Constantine and return Daniel to his mum. But Constantine's just like, nah, you probably should obey Dream and bring him to the dreaming. And, well, this is where Constantine is pretty much like, we probably shouldn't see each other again. Corinthian even offers to show up in her dreams. But Constantine says the exact same things that her ancestors said. That probably wouldn't be a very good idea. And you know what? When Lady Joanna Constantine said that, it's because she also caught feelings for Orpheus. So, does this Joanna Constantine have feelings for the Corinthian as well? I mean, I'll be honest, I wouldn't blame her if she did. This Corinthian is much nicer, and, not gonna lie, the actor is handsome. No homo, of course. But yeah, Constantine pulls out her ancestor's journal as if knowing that her ancestor did the exact same thing. Anyways, Nala goes back to see Cluracan again, and also sees Puck has returned, in bed with Cluracan. Nala realizes that her necklace, her jewel that was a gift from Dream, is gone. And so she kind of blames Cluracan. You know, Cluracan and the Queen, because, like, you probably allowed the Queen to swipe it off of me the last time we had tea. And Cluracan's just like, sister, see, that's the thing about royalty. They can have whatever they want, and when they ask you for something, you kind of give it to them. Which, you know, is kind of bullshit, but, you know. So, Nuala and Cluracan go to Queen Titania, where Titania is just like, I believe this is yours, isn't it? Your pendant? And under immense pressure, Nuala is just like, yes, it was my pendant, but I would like for you to have it. In exchange for allowing me to go to the dreaming. Queen Titania is just like, why? And Nala just says that Puck returning informs us that the Kindly Ones are on their way to the dreaming to kill Dream, so she must warn him. But because, for some stupid reason, Nuala just blurs out that the pendant is a boon and can summon Dream, you idiot. Why would you say that? Titania just like, well, instead of you going to him, this pendant can summon him, can't it? So let's bring him here. So Queen Titania just straight up summons Dream to Fairy, which is a horrible thing. Because remember, Dream entrusted the pendant to Nuala as an emergency. If anything were to happen, summon me and I will be there. So Dream, expecting this to be an emergency, shows up. And when he shows up and sees, well, nothing's wrong, I can't blame him, Dream is pissed. Dream is pretty upset. And this is a horrible turn of events, because remember, Dream, if he's inside of his own realm, he's safe from the Furies. But now, he's not in his realm, he is out in the open. And to make things worse, the moment Dream leaves his safe haven, his protection bubble, the moment he leaves, he literally gets told by Nala, oh, I heard that the Furies are on their way to kill you. So, shit. Everything bad is playing out right now. And I don't know, Queen Titania seems to have no remorse. She barely looks like she even knows what she just did. But as everything settles in, they realize, oh shit, Dream is here. The Furies are already on their way. This is bad. We see Destiny reading his book. all other destinies fade. All other destinies disappear. You know, kind of like that one scene where Reverse Flash, all of his copies get erased when Black Flash killed him. So, all other destinies fade, meaning there's one destiny, one path forward. Uh-oh. Fiddler's Green back in the dreaming. He sees that the ladies have all returned, and not gonna lie, Hippolyta is pretty hot in that outfit that they gave her. So Fiddler's Green tries to, you know, welcome the ladies politely, but then also politely asks them to leave. But they basically say no, because your master is not here anymore. Hippolyta steps up and stabs Fiddler's Green. She kills Fiddler's Green. So poor Fiddler's Green, he falls and dies. Not only does he die, all of the green starts dying too. The plants all start graying out. Even the sky, the clear blue sky turns gray and cloudy. So everything around them is dying as they approach the palace, probably awaiting Dream's return. Now, this is pretty crazy because, well, even if Dream were able to explain to Hippolyta, no, I did not kill your son, and your son is alive, well, she killed Fiddler's Green. I doubt Dream is gonna take that one politely. So, there you go. Story's playing out pretty crazy, I'm not gonna lie. So let's move on to Dead Boy Detectives. This is the final episode. This is the season finale and unintentionally the series finale since the show's canceled. And not gonna lie, the episode does close off the story pretty well for the most part. Like there's no over dangling storyline that'll never be followed up on for the most part. But because this was never meant to be the final episode, of course there's a couple of story threads, more particularly one very glaring one that we will never get answered. So, Dead Boy Detectives, episode 8, the final episode. Actually, there was one thing I forgot to mention in episode 7 last time. They mentioned Orpheus and Eurydice. They referenced Orpheus and Eurydice from Sandman Season 2. But, if anything, it's actually a tease for what's coming up. Because Dead Boy Detectives came out before Sandman Season 2. So it was actually a teaser for Sandman Season 2. So this will be the final time I cover Dead Boy Detectives. So we open up with Crystal getting some of her memories back, and we actually see that the real Crystal, the Crystal in her previous life was a horrible person. An absolutely terrible person. Unforgivable whatsoever. You know, it's kind of shocking, like, that's not this person. And you know, I wonder. I've never actually seen a story like this before where an absolutely shitty person loses their memory. As they begin to get fragments back of their memory, they realize they were a terrible person. And if that person were to get all their memories back, would they change their ways, realizing, ugh, I don't like who I was. I don't like who I am. I'm not going to be that anymore. So Crystal, now that she has some of her memories back, she remembers her parents and her parents' phone number. Oh yeah, she also remembers her full name. And her full name is kind of wild. Her name is Crystal Palace, surname Von Hankercraft. No, Hovercraft. So, Crystal Palace Von Hovercraft. That's a crazy name. Let's see. We see Esther has finished building her little, like, torture extraction device, and she captured some ghost to test it out on. And this thing will extract the pain and suffering out of the ghost, and it will turn into pure essence or whatnot that literally, like, almost like a flaming cocktail that Esther rubs on herself, and it makes her young. It makes her youthful and young. She only caught like 2 drops from this ghost, so imagine how much she could extract from Edwin. So let's see, Crystal calls her parents, and her parents kind of ain't shit either. They're also super rich, as it turns out. So Crystal's parents are like on like a movie set, I imagine. I don't know, it's not really clear. And they didn't even realize that Crystal was missing for a couple weeks. They're just like, what? You missing? Nah, stop exaggerating, you were missing. Damn. Shitty parents. So Crystal realizes that she has wronged a shit ton of people back in London. She wants to leave this little, like, you know, butcher shop where she's paying rent at. And she wants to go and kind of, like, make amends there to all the people she's wronged. But she wants to do it alone. So she gets ready to leave Town Portsend. Yep. Yada yada yada, small stories that don't really matter. So Jenny wakes up in Nico's bed, and she at first doesn't believe all this crazy stuff that they just said to her, but they have proof. So Nico shows Jenny the jar with the pixie sprites, the jar with the tiny little people in it, and amazingly they're complimenting Jenny instead of roasting her. So now Jenny has no choice but to believe. And also she sees the dead boys. She's able to see them. Esther strolls into town and, well, she actually has like a friendly reputation around town. I guess not a lot of people know that she's a witch, because we get confirmation about that later on. So yeah, Crystal leaves the butcher shop. She says goodbye to everyone. As she leaves, you know, we get this really sad, somber moment in slow motion as she walks away. Everyone's pretty sad to see her go. And then as Crystal leaves, the butcher shop explodes. It just explodes. So Crystal runs back to see if everyone's okay. Esther comes out with, two little glowing boxes. Jenny's just like, after you left, Esther Finch came in, and then there was a big explosion. Well, Nico saw that Esther captured the two ghost boys. It's like, oh, what's that witch gonna do now? Jenny's just like, wait, Esther Finch is a witch? So Crystal and Nico, they have to go after Esther and try to save the two boys. So, Jenny, she arms the two with meat cleavers. Well, better than nothing, I suppose. Crystal and Nico, they go to the Cat King to try to get some information on Esther to see if they can do anything to stop her. The Cat King tells them, or tells us, Esther's backstory. This was all before Port Townsend. This was around the time of the settlers. The pioneers came, the settlers. Esther was a hard-working, beautiful young woman. But her husband was unfaithful. So, vowing revenge, she took up witchcraft, but that wasn't enough. So she summoned Lilith. And asked for immortality. Lilith granted her immortality, but there was a little, there was something in the fine print that Esther didn't notice. Immortality doesn't mean eternal youth. So yes, Esther may be immortal, but she won't be young and beautiful forever. So she found a little loophole. She feeds her giant snake little girls, and that keeps her young. So Esther has Charles with a little, iron neck collar, because remember, iron hurts ghosts. And she has Edwin strapped up onto her little, torture misery extracting device. Also, during the conversation with the Cat King, he reveals, you probably should want some black salt to use against Esther. So, Nico and Crystal, they go to, Mick to get some black salt, and he already has it on ready, because he knows that Esther is making a horrible contraption. And he also gives Nico a little charm for good luck. It's a little bear statue thing. Just a little charm for good luck. So, as Esther extracts liquid torture out of Edwin, Crystal and Nico, they show up and they need to come up with a plan. So they find Charles. They talk to him first. They brought Charles's bag, his infinite Doraemon bag. And they toss it to Edwin just far enough to where he couldn't reach it. They were right beside him, too. Well, not right beside, but they were close enough where they could have walked up to him and handed him it. But instead, Crystal tosses him the bag to where it's just far enough he's not able to reach it with his hands. Are you fucking kidding me? Charles has to reach out with his feet to try to pull it towards him. But it's just out of range to where he touches the iron collar and it burns him. Are you fucking kidding me? You could have handed it to him, or you couldn't have just tossed it to him closer. Well, that's just lazy writing. So the plan goes, Crystal distracts Esther while Nico tries to free Edwin. So Charles notices that Monty is nearby and getting out of his cage, and Monty helps Charles get his bag. And so, Charles, with his bag, is able to lockpick himself free, get down to the underground dungeon, and try to fight off the giant snake. Anyways, so Crystal, distracting Esther, uses a black salt and it does nothing to her. Let's see. While Edwin is in excruciating pain, Charles fights off the snake. Crystal almost manages to talk down Esther and be like, people, we can do good with our time on this earth and our powers, just like Charles and Edwin. They help so many lives. Like, she almost made it through to Esther, converting her to be good instead. But no, they realize that Nico is trying to free Edwin, so she's just like, oh, you almost had me there. Yep, so she throws like a flaming dagger towards Crystal, but Nico takes the bullet for her, and Nico gets killed. Poor Nico. Nico dies in the finale. So, Crystal is all pissed that Nico's dead. So as she, she's very angry and tries to go at Esther, being mad doesn't make you stronger. That's not how it works. So Esther just tries to, force choke her, but that gives just enough space for Crystal to be able to be in physical contact with Esther. So with physical contact, Crystal is able to do some mind games with Esther. How does she stop Esther? In the mind game, she summons Lilith and tells Lilith, hey, you're supposed to be the goddess of wronged women, right? Well, the person you granted immortality for kills little girls to stay young. How is that justice? So Lilith pretty much takes back her gift that she gave to Esther, while at the same time, Charles kills the snake. So Esther is old now. Old and powerless, to where Crystal is able to just backhand smack her across the face. And then Lilith shows up. Lilith just suddenly shows up and drags Esther off. Lilith just drags Esther outside, the door closes, and, well, that's the last we'll see of her. So, Esther is gone, Edwin is free, but Nico is dead. So our characters, they're inside of Nico's room, paying their last respect. Jenny reveals that they're going to ship the body back to Japan. And they also notice that, oh no, the pixie sprites are also gone. So anyways, the Dead Boys, they're getting ready to go back to London themselves, their base of operations, because they came to town Portsend for Crystal. But now their work here is done, so it's time for them to return home to London, where they can continue the Dead Boy Detective Agency. It seems like Crystal is going to tag along too, and they even offer Jenny to come with them. And we get a hard maybe. Maybe Jenny will join, maybe not. It's kind of implied that she will. That way the character would have stuck around for Season 2. But we're never gonna get a Season 2. So Jenny probably follows along, because even she said herself, her butcher shop is like mildly successful. No, she said barely successful butcher shop. That a witch blew up. Edwin gets called out to see the Cat King, where, you know, the Cat King is actually polite and respectful. He gives Edwin flowers in respects to his friend, you know, Nico. And Edwin is able to just call him out on why he does what he does. It's because the Cat King is lonely, just like Edwin is. So as a goodbye, Edwin kisses him on the cheek. And finally answers how many cats there are in Port Townsend. 147 cats. Close. There's 146 cats in Port Townsend. But if you count the Cat King himself, then there would be 147. Anyway, so our characters go back to London. Charles and Edwin are doing their Dead Boy Detective Agency paperwork, while the ghost mailman shows up. Remember him? Haven't seen him in a while. They get delivered a box. Inside the box is a bigger box. A bigger box that physically should not fit in the smaller box, but whatever. Inside the box is the night nurse. She could have just showed up before them instead of just mailing herself, but whatever. Not only is it the night nurse, it's also, I assume, her superior. It's not actually stated that this other woman is the night nurse's superior. She really just refers to herself as, you know... Wait, what? How did she say? Let me see. She just refers to herself as one of the little cogs that make the very big wheel go round. But for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to assume this is the night nurse's superior. So the night nurse is super giddy. Super giddy for the dead boys to follow them back to the afterlife lost and found so that they could be assigned to their proper afterlives. She is so excited you can almost see her chest explode. But the superior, she turns and sees, hey, what's this? What are all these papers and other stuff you have here? They tell her that this is what we do. We solve mysteries and we help lost ghosts move on to their afterlives. So the superior is just like, not exactly the same, but they kind of do what we do at the Lost and Found department, don't they? Now that there's so many people dying in the world, there is room for errors more than ever. In fact, we probably want the Dead Boy detectives to keep on doing what they're doing. To the point where the superior promotes, or in this case demotes, the night nurse to stay on Earth and continue working with the Dead Boy detectives. And she is not thrilled. So the Dead Boy detectives are allowed to stay on Earth to continue their work, and now they have the night nurse to work for them. It would have been nice to see them grow closer and more friendlier in Season 2. But yeah, the night nurse, she's very not happy, and she's very not even open to becoming friends with them. Edwin and Charles, they have a big smirk on their face because they're loving every moment of this. So it seems like a happy ending. The boys are back in London. They're allowed to do their thing. It seems like Crystal and Jenny follow them to London as well. Though we don't see them in the final scene. But yeah, it seems like a happy ending. No open-end storylines. Except The final scene of the episode, we see the Aurora Borealis, so we're in the Arctic. We go into an igloo where we see someone wrapped up in a lot of winter clothes in front of a fire. We don't ever see her face, but we see the pixie sprites and the fact that this other person, this third person, is holding the special lucky charm that Mick gave. This is Nico, or at least it's implied. We don't see her face. But yeah, it's Nico. Nico is with the pixie sprites in an igloo for some reason. And, well, because the show is canceled, we're never gonna get an answer to that. What the fuck does that mean? Don't know. Never going to know. Nico died, yes, so this is assuming this is assumed to be her afterlife. Why in Nico's afterlife is she in the Arctic, inside an igloo under the Aurora Borealis with the two pixie sprites? We will never know. And there we go, the Dead Boy Detectives. Ooh, I see there's a new episode of The Moon Woke Up. I didn't see this yet. I gotta watch it now. The Moon Woke Up episode 11 came out yesterday. And I watched that now. Damn, Tornadus is taking a while, isn't he? Damn, Tornadus is really taking a while, isn't he? Like, really? Last encounter for tonight. Well, I'll see you guys next time.